What do you do with someone's life when no one's watching? On a very hot summer day, around the time I was leaving high school and stepping into the beginning of college, I was somewhere in Southeast Portland with two older people I thought I looked up to. I do not remember the exact year anymore, but like Grandma used to say, memory is funny like that, and it only gets worse with time. Some details disappear, other details seem to stay sharp for no reason. I remember the heat, I remember the Henny being part of that day, but this happened before most of the drinking. It was afternoon and we were getting ready to pick up some liquor and something to eat. That was when one of them spotted a black wallet on the ground in the middle of the street. I will not use their names. This story is not about exposing anyone. It's about a moment that stayed with me. A black wallet sitting there in the middle of the street, like it was waiting to ask us a question. Before anyone said what we should do, my mind went somewhere else. Back to my grandma. When I was younger, I used to ask her all types of questions. To her, some probably felt strange, some probably felt serious. I remember asking her once, what would happen if Portland got attacked by another country? She told me that would mean war and the whole United States would respond. And I remember being amazed at how big and powerful America sounded. I remember asking her why dogs were so loyal, but cats seemed to keep to themselves. I even asked her once, if someone seriously hurt someone she loved, would she do whatever it took to protect them? Not because I was thinking about revenge or violence or some form of justice. I was just a young, curious immigrant kid trying to understand protection. But I think I already knew the answer to that question. I just wanted to hear her say it. And somewhere in all of those questions, I remember asking her what I should do if I ever found a wallet with a lot of cash in it. I do not know why I asked her things like that. Maybe I was just curious. Maybe I was already trying to understand the world. Maybe I wanted to know what doing the right thing looked like before life ever put the real thing in front of me. But that was my sweet grandma. She was someone I could always bring those questions to. Not because she had some grand speech ready every time, but because she listened and she answered, and she made me feel like my questions mattered, even the strange ones. So when that black wallet sat there in the street years later, it felt like one of those old questions had come back. There were three of us that day. Me, the person who found the wallet, and the other person. I was the youngest one, and I was with two older people that I thought I looked up to. Maybe that's why the memory stayed with me. Because when you are young, you listen closely to how people you respect explain the world. Sometimes they teach you directly, and sometimes they teach you by how they react to things. That day, we all looked at the same wallet, and somehow we all saw something different. The other person said we should take the money and throw the wallet away. Lost things are lost. That was the idea. The world is hard. You take what you can get. The person who found the wallet felt bad. He did not want to throw the whole thing away. He knew the ID mattered. He knew the cards mattered. And he knew the wallet belonged to someone. But he also needed money. So his answer was somewhere in the middle. Take the cash. Mail the wallet back. Return the ID. Return the cards. Return the person's life, but keep the money. And then there was me. I said we should return all of it. The wallet, the ID, the cards, every dollar. Not because I was perfect. I was not. I was young, reckless, and carrying a whole lot of rebellion in me. And Henny was also part of that day. I had my own flaws, my own selfish thoughts, my own growing up to do. But all I could think about was how I would feel if I had lost my wallet and someone returned it to me untouched. I remember thinking I would be the happiest man alive. And it would not be because of the money, but because someone out there chose not to make my day worse. That mattered to me. Maybe because I already knew what it feels like when the world was cold. Maybe because I had seen enough people take from others and act like that was just life. Maybe because some part of me still wanted proof that people could do the right thing, even when no one is watching. Or maybe Grandma's answer had stayed inside me longer than I realized. When I said we should return all of it, they looked at me like, why would a group of strangers do extra work to return something some random person lost? Like I was the one not understanding how the world worked. And after a while, they talked to themselves into keeping the cash. But they also agreed that the finder would send the wallet back. The ID would go back. The cards would go back. But the money would not. They ended up splitting the cash and sending the wallet back. I took no part in that, but I also did not fight them over it. I was young, they were older, so I let the moment move on, but it did not move on inside me. It stayed on my mind the whole day. I still remember that younger version of me, the one who knew his answer but did not know what to do with it. And it stayed with me. A wallet is small. You can hold it in one hand, but it carries more than money. It carries someone's name, their ID, their cards, their way home, and maybe their gas money or their food money. It could have been the last cash they had until payday, and they were already having a hard week. Maybe losing the wallet was the thing that finally made them sit somewhere alone and feel like everything was falling apart. Or maybe not. I did not know the person who lost it. I did not know their story. But I did know they were a person. And sometimes that should be enough. 3 people looked at the same thing and told the truth about how they saw the world. One answer was take it. One answer was take some of it. One answer was return it all. I think that was one of the first times I realized character does not always announce itself. Sometimes it shows up before you have time to prepare a better answer. And sometimes it shows up when nobody is watching. Need is real. Temptation is real. Being young is real. Being broke is real. Life can make people look at the exact same thing differently, depending where they are in life. But that moment still shaped me, because I knew which answer I wanted to live with. I wanted to be the kind of person who remembered there was someone else on the other side of my choice. I wanted to be the kind of person who did not turn someone's loss into opportunity. I wanted to be the kind of person who could be trusted with something that did not belong to me. Even if nobody ever found out. Even if nobody ever thanked me. Even if nobody ever knew. I do not remember every part of how that day ended. Maybe that is strange. But maybe it also says something about memory. Sometimes memory does not keep the whole scene. Sometimes it only keeps the part that changed you. And what stayed with me was not every detail. It was the answers. Take it, take some of it, return it all. 3 answers, 1 wallet. One young version of me standing there, realizing that people can look at the same thing and see completely different worlds. Now that I'm a father, I think about the wallet a lot different. And it's not because I want my sons to think of me as someone perfect, because I was not. I had my flaws, and I said what I believed, but I also didn't fight for it. And I think that's part of the reason why it stayed with me. Because sometimes knowing the answer is not the same thing as standing with it. This is hard to admit, but I do not want to sugarcoat my life for my kids. I do not write these legacy pieces because every memory makes me look good. Some do, some do not. But that's what makes the lessons real. I write them because one day my children may read these words when I'm not around to explain myself. And I do not want them to only know what happened. I want them to know what I meant. I want them to know what bothered me. I want them to know where their father stood, even when I was still learning how to stand there. Because one day my sons will face their own version of it. It may not be a wallet. It may be a lie, a shortcut, a secret. Perhaps a chance to take something that is not theirs. A moment in their life where nobody is around to stop them. Or maybe worse, a moment where everyone around them makes the wrong thing sound normal. And I hope they remember those moments matter. Not because they have to be perfect, but because those little moments do something to you. They become part of the person you have to live with later when the room gets quiet. I think about my sons growing up in a world that would test them in quiet ways. It doesn't always have to be some big dramatic moment. Small things can teach us some of the biggest lessons in life. For years, I thought that memory stayed with me because of the wallet, but I do not think that is true anymore. I think it stayed with me because of the question it asked. What do you do with someone's life when no one's there watching? Or maybe I was still that curious kid asking grandma what's right and wrong. Except this time, she wasn't the one answering. I was. And even though I didn't know how to stand there yet, I knew where I stood.